Goddamn Kevin. Wait, who? All right, here we are with Fellowship of Cybertron, Season 1, Episode The Outro, which would be Episode, I guess, 9. It is May 2019. I was Devin, the Overlord. Or I was just Devin. I'm Devin. And to my left we got...
Nicole?
Tyler?
Kevin? And Peter.
Like I said, I'm not going to edit any of that.
So, you still are Devin.
No, I was Devin playing the Overlord. Now I'm just Devin. All right, so we just got out of the last episode that you might have listened to, I don't know, either immediately or a week ago. It depends on what time you're viewing this episode. But we did it. We're done. That was it. And this episode's us talking about Fellowship because we just ran through our first Fellowship game.
How do you like it?
Yeah, talk, guys.
I like Fellowship. It's really fun.
Yeah, I think it was pretty universally loved. I like how narrative it allowed things to be with such a loose framework.
Especially with you getting to define what your people are. My character type had less of that than some others, but it's still a really cool facet of the game that I really like.
Yeah.
It encourages you to hoard friends and treasure because they're HP.
Yes.
Make friends, you can throw them away.
It was a nice
Right in
night.
the line of fire.
It was a nice and light system in general.
Yeah, it didn't take a lot of time to learn. It's probably one of those games that you can probably master a lot better once you kind of read over it and stuff. But yeah, it was really easy to engage with. I think we really hit our stride episode 2. Episode 1 was that Sea Kraken battle, and it was like, oh, okay. Episode 2 is when you guys fought Hardshell. It clicked.
That was fun. Is that the episode that we set Peter's blood on fire?
Yeah, that's the episode you set his blood on fire.
Yeah. Well, I guess the way we ran Fellowship was definitely more fighty than normal Fellowship probably would be, because that's our source material, I guess.
There were some artifacts of the source material compromising the original game. Like, Fellowship isn't or Transformers isn't as collaborative as it could be. It requires kind of knowing the conventions in the source material. Like, the source material doesn't matter as much, but knowing kind of like touchstones about it helps kind of push it forward. Like, the swears, blood is Energon, fuel is Energon, that whole thing. The game didn't really have a set real canon. We were kind of pulling from all the different inspirations. A lot of IDW and aligned continuity and like just the G1 cartoon a bit.
I mean, if we just came into it, yes, we were just running and kind of like, let's not fret about like trying to have our people that define it and so on. Like we offered most of that to you, which I think was fine for this game.
Yeah.
So,
like, I've always wanted to run a Transformers game, and I've not because I had like a plot in mind. Like this whole game was whole cloth made as we were running. Like, I had no idea what Tarantulas' plot was. I had no idea what he wanted. I didn't know that his ship was a Reaper till like halfway through the game. None of that. It kind of just emerged organically. But what I did have was a lot of big ideas about how to do like the thematics or the narrative or the sort of framing the relationships of a Transformers game. That stuff I've probably talked about before. World War II, trench warfare, people stuck on either side of an impossible conflict. What does it look like to be at war forever when you're an immortal, warrior?
yep.
And I think I got that stuff out of my system. I think I'm happy with how that all turned out, and Fellowship was a great way to channel it.
Yeah, it came out pretty nicely.
I mean, he was there than doing like Fate or the basic expert system.
Chronicles of Darkness, Demon.
Fucking a bunch of shit was recommended to me for it. None of it fit really.
Yep.
But I think this nailed it the best I could possibly have nailed it. Without using Legacy, but Legacy would require a lot of work.
Legacy will be a different game.
Yeah, I think Fellowship hit the highlights of it being a game about this kind of conflict based on a bunch of toys.
And yeah, probably more character focused than Legacy would be.
Yeah, I think there's pretty good character focus, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Both with like PCs and NPCs and so on. Maybe we'll like linger a bit more because we seem to be like progressing to things a little bit faster than we usually do. Sometimes in our games we tend to like, let's sit here and talk for like an hour, which is fine.
This definitely encouraged you guys to move at a faster clip. Which was nice because, it's not like, we stay around here for a bunch of weeks and do nothing and like, this is like, no, you're on a deadline. You have a gun to your head. You have to get this stuff figured out.
Yep.
Which was nice.
Also, yeah, it got us to move around and so on. Because normally we just sit around in one place or deal with one place's problem and so on.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely didn't have an HQ. You had to kind of split your time between a bunch of different civilizations.
Yep.
Yeah, anything else you guys want to add from that? Just impressions from the last session?
Well, the Mass Effect combination with Transformers worked pretty well.
Yeah, it really did.
What, the Mass Effect and Transformers stuff?
Yeah, the combination of the two.
Yeah, I thought it was cute. I have an idea in mind that if we do another season or 2 more seasons or whatever, I might move you into the future where Mass Effect is happening and Earth has, Mass Effect 1 timeline where, like, Earth is trying to join the Citadel and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, maybe the 1985 stuff happened, and that could be cute, where it's like, oh yeah, you want to join the Citadel Earth? And it's like, yeah, sure. It's like, what about your robot friends? It's like, go fuck yourselves. We're not joining your stupid little Citadel. You're a bunch of goddamn young aliens who are like, ooh, machine life is evil. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, machine life is evil, and we're
We'll
the
show
ones in
you
charge
evil.
of everything.
We'll show you evil.
How old are you guys? We've been at this for like 1 billion years.
Right, like the Asaris, like, we live for thousands of years in our space selves. And it's like, oh, wow, you live 1,000 years. That's really good for you.
I nap for longer than that, man.
Right?
I had a gunshot wound for longer than that. While you were trying to spell your name.
I fucking love that you put that in, you son of a bitch.
What's the reference to?
Battlefield Earth.
Ah.
John goddamn Travolta, straightest man in Hollywood, screams that line out in the bar.
So yeah. Anything else about the fellowship system? Did we like it? What things we didn't like, and so on?
I didn't like that the special fellowships could only have one bond. with
Oh
people.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's been a constant thread.
Was not a fan of that. I felt it really kind of flied in the face of how the system is supposed to work and the kind of play that it wanted to encourage you to do. I see why they did it as a mechanical constraint, but I think they should do something else.
I think the drawbacks for the more advanced playbook should be stuff that adds to the flavor of the game rather than just a mechanical, you can't take bonds.
Yeah, for example, when you became more powerful, you got the weakness of the Overlord, and that was like a huge thing. That kind of stuff would be cool, yeah, instead of...
Even something like where the more bonds you have, more they start to go funny or something like that. Or
Something. The powerful playbooks restricting you to one bond, deep bonds with people seems... I don't know. We understand where it comes from. Like, I think
Yeah.
we've independently, Peter and I have both talked to the creator about it.
Yeah.
Jacob? I can't remember. We've talked to him about it, and he said, yeah, it's to represent that, like, people who are powerful, kind of like Gandalf, in those types of stories, are more aloof and separate from the group, and that's fine.
They can't really relate to them, and that
Yeah.
makes total sense.
Yeah, that is thematically sound. It's just not fun.
Yeah. And
Like-
it works better when there is a Gandalf, as
Yeah.
opposed to 3 Gandalfs.
Yeah.
And like one person who's not Gandalf.
Well, especially since you can take all Gandalf's powers just by going around it, taking the end of days, and being like, I can still have bonds.
Well, to be fair, we only had the two. Like, Nicole and Peter were Gandalfs to start. They were powerful playbooks. You two were normal.
Yeah.
But still, even at 50%, it's rough. Like, I don't even think, like, they recommend that no more than so much of the party should be a powerful playbook, but with that bond rule in place, really, you only kind of want one. Like, any more than one, it gets weird.
Yeah.
Just for, like, it's like, hey, we made a bond. It's like, no, we already filled out our bonds. We're done. No more bonds.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's definitely my biggest complaint.
Yeah. Once again, we understand completely why it's there, thematically and everything. It's just...
Do you think we should just house rule that away?
We have to come up with an alternative, though.
Would we, though?
I mean,
Just
yeah,
ignore it.
I kind of agree with you. Like, would we? Like, how did it really keep anyone in check?
I mean,
Peter was always solving problems as a giant, and you were always consistently strong. You were always rolling 10s and shit.
I guess
and
the
having
only-
solution.
And like the pair gets hope when working with themselves
I
anyway.
think the
So
only-
that whole like, oh, you can't be super bonded with people. You're probably not going to be rolling with hope all the time.
I think it only will come into play when stuff gets better. Like, final showdown, breakout, shoot Tarantula takes it to Vigil. Therefore, the only bonds they had with Vigil is broken. Therefore, you can't.
Yeah,
suddenly
but
a couple moves stop working. So
had I built the Overlord to have the one where you can just casually destroy your bonds like an asshole, that'd have been done.
yeah,
So I could have easily killed off 3 levels worth of bonds. Is 3 the max for
Yeah.
people?
Normal people, I think so.
3 is
The
the normal.
Squire and the Overlord can have more.
Yeah.
Because the Squire and the Overlord are freaking weird.
Yep. I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. Is there anything that, can we just say, if we just said advanced playbooks and just have 3 bonds like everyone else, does that really alter the face of the game that much?
Probably not that much.
I don't know. It's something to consider when Tyler runs his Fellowship game.
We'll see.
As for general things...
Oh, and yeah, a lot of the powerful playbooks. Oh, no, not only powerful playbooks. I was going to say that most of them aren't able to command lore about their people, but that's not true. Like, mine can't.
You can. You command lore about your organization.
Yeah, but it's a little bit different. And, I think the giant.
Well, giant.
Commands lore about giants.
Yeah, but giant community is a single giant.
Yeah.
As well, so it's different. It's not that you don't have.
That isn't a powerful playbook thing, though. That's just some of the more weirder ones.
Yeah, like
the
Red
Collector
Dead.
and the Exile from Inverse Fellowship are both like that. The Collector commands fellowship about a community of people who are exotic collectors.
Yeah.
And the Exile commands lore about the people he was exiled from, and I think other exiles.
The Squire only commands a lot about the people he has bonds with and so on.
Yeah. So
everyone has something.
I don't really. Yeah, I don't really think it fudges with anything.
What else? I guess we collected quite a bit of companions throughout our game because it was quite. We had quite a number. So maybe that was a bit much, maybe. But...
I like it.
I don't think it was a bit much because in Fellowship the companions seem to be kind of like rank and file. Like, this is an elven soldier. His name is Elfo. This is a pig soldier for the orc. His name is Pigo. I was gonna say I don't know, Chris Farley or something, but that seemed sad.
That's a little mean.
It's a little sad. But they're supposed to be kind of oh no, Chris, you died. All right, here is my new pig soldier. His name
Chris
is
with a K.
Christopher.
His brother joins.
Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
But in Transformers, everyone is kind of unique.
Yeah.
So I think you collecting a lot of people was incidental. It just came more to the forefront because every single one of them is unique.
Yeah.
Nitro, Zeus, and Mirrorshades are different characters.
Yep. Eventually we want to bring everyone to the final fight. Okay, how many companions do you have with you? How many of them are in this one lift?
That's because you guys are fucking terrible about having companions. You guys didn't keep track of them at all.
Yeah. So
And I was like, hey, who's with you? And you're like, no. And it's like, okay, who's with you? It's like, 30 people. We have 30 people with us. Oh, they're all dying.
paperwork. Yeah.
When I play in Fellowship, I'm not going to have that happen. They're all going to be, I'm going to be situationally aware of all of them.
So yeah, that. I guess also I know, sometimes we were doing some stuff that maybe wasn't necessarily that well covered in the move. I think there's something missing the basic moves that some stuff we were doing. Again, sneaking about, are you looking closely?
Sneaking about would be overcome. You build out,
but then it gets...
overcome is for preventing damage, not for positioning yourself.
Well, it's not about positioning yourself. It's about overcoming a challenge.
I think that works if more things are finish them where you can use different stats to accomplish.
Like overcome.
things.
When you attempt to avoid, redirect, or prevent the harm something will cause, you roll whatever. On a 10+, you stop the obstacle, threat, cut, or move from causing harm.
Yeah.
Blah, blah. See, how you build threats in Fellowship is you build them like a set piece. So when you guys are sneaking through the tunnels, the threat is, these things are going to find you, how are you going to get around them? And overcome's a valid option. You roll with blood and you're like, I'm going to go in and I'm going to cause distraction and get out of here. Though I do get what you're saying with different stats.
Yeah.
Yes. Also, we really did not take advantage of the bond moves until that last section.
Oh yeah. Forging a bond, the bonds that bind us, bound in service is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What else was there? Yeah, it's also
I guess getaway should have been what you rolled for the stealth, because you're trying to get somewhere out of reach or out of sight.
Mm.
Yeah, I feel like getaway almost will more be get somewhere. and
Yeah.
get away is part of what you can
Get
do.
away makes me feel like you're trying to escape a combat, like holding the shoulder buttons in Final
Yeah.
Fantasy, but it's not. It's
Yeah.
that would have covered.
Yeah, it even says, get there quickly, avoiding harm, get there quickly, drawing no attention, and grab someone with you and bring them. So yeah, those are exactly what you would want for that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of us trying to read the moves a little more closely and getting the exact word.
There's also like the rhythm of like, oh, hey guys, do something so I can furnish them. Like, after a while, it gets a bit stale. Perhaps.
Well, that's because the combat's so frequent because of the specific type of game you play. I think in a normal Fellowship game, like one where everyone's kind of collaborating together and it's more of like the journey, it would have been easier. But this was like a war story.
Also, we started in like the first edition, not second edition. Second edition is anything that would be an advantage is an advantage. Whereas beforehand it was
Overcome.
roll a
finish.
fucking overcome or
Keep them
whatever.
busy
Get
and
away.
look closely.
Yeah, like roll these things so I can do my thing. Now it's like, hey, you're fucking on his shoulders covering his eyes.
I mean,
That's an advantage for me.
Yeah.
Which really was the problem I had with Rhapsody of Blood when we did that very brief session. I don't think we'll ever make it out. A lot of it's like, you're in a corner and there are monsters. Roll, destroy the monsters of the castle. You did it? You're done. And then, like, if you go to an archbishop, you're like, roll the thing to get advantage because it has advantage, and then roll the thing to use advantage to kill it. You did it. Like, Rhapsody of Blood has that problem where that's the expected play, so it's like 3 moves you're constantly using.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Fellowship does not have that problem by default. It just became something we rubbed up against more because we made it a war story.
Yep.
That's my personal take on it. I don't know if that's universally true, but that's what I think.
What else? It's also like maybe one problem I had like, oh, that we go into some battle. Okay, there's an army there, but the overload's right there. Would we like jump over the whole thing and just start punching and stuff and engage with anything else because nothing can do anything to us until we fail and there's a cut coming from us.
Yeah, you guys were rolling pretty high, so I couldn't really hit you with cuts.
Yeah, it's like, oh, even if you put like, oh, there's 2 enemies there and there's a boss. Okay, I just bypass the enemies and go for the boss because they can't do anything against me. What have you? It's like,
Yes, it is very easy to consistently get high scores in this game. Like 3 of us were all able to build characters in such a way using not even the same techniques, but just things available to our characters
Yeah.
to get it to the point where when we were rolling stuff, it was pretty consistently
Yep.
8 or 9 at the lowest.
Yeah, it was aggressively skewed high.
Yeah.
I don't know,
I guess-
maybe there's some part we're missing. Like, is it possible that we're just missing on something? Maybe this is something to, like, ask.
Probably
Well, the thing is, when you fail, it's catastrophic.
I mean, yeah, until first card comes, Fellowship is at an advantage because until you can separate them to get rid of their hope or something, then
I personally feel, and this might just be me not having read the cuts close enough, but cuts should be happening on 9-.
No, we specifically asked that to the creator after the first session where we were doing that. Like, no, that's
I know that, but I think cuts should be coming on 9-.
A lot of
Because if cuts don't come on 9-, that means you're consistently not getting cuts, and it means when you do roll low, you get the idea that failure is a catastrophic thing you want to avoid. When it shouldn't be. Cuts should be things that liven up the game and spice it up. So if anything but a 10 is creating a cut, it's creating some sort of compromise in what you're doing that adds complications and twists in the narrative.
so. I guess
But if it was on a 9 minus, I would feel like we're never actually succeeding.
See, that's something that comes up a lot in people talking about Fellowship on like Reddit and forums, and that's not it at all. You get what you want, but something happens in the story to make it interesting.
That already happens on 9 minus. You already have something bad happening. You don't have to add a cut to it.
What bad happened in the fight with Tarantulas until you guys rolled super low or he was able to use a thing against you?
For
Not
example,
a lot.
keep them busy. On 9 minus, they will retaliate against you when your time is up. There's already a
Yeah,
bad
but
thing
by the
happening.
time you keep them busy and someone else overcomes, they're dead. They're not retaliating.
yeah.
Your time never gets up, Nicole. It's never happened to you once. That's not anything. That's not a disadvantage.
I guess it
Which
would
is
be-
why I put the caveat. Maybe I didn't understand it completely, but not enough shit happens in the movies.
maybe you should like I think the Veil had some solution that where like a lot of the time you could like pay a price to get some partial of it. Like there was more happening between like 10 plus and the lower tier. There was more.
I'm just trying to
stuff.
say that getting a low roll shouldn't be something that you feel like is a failure. Like the way it's been put across to me is that, say, you know, you're rolling to like keep someone busy or to overcome something, and you don't get that 10 plus or whatever, right? It should be like, oh man, you know, you take out the security grid. That's what you were overcoming, because the security grid was going to like shock that guy to death. That's fine. You take it out. The soft cut that comes up to it, though, is that someone notices the grid gets blown out, and now someone's going to come to investigate. That's interesting. You got what you wanted. You took out the grid. You saved that guy from being shot. Now someone's going to investigate. This adds a twist to the story. What happens there? And since it's a soft cut and telegraphed, you can easily deal with it when it's coming up. You can be like, okay, well, now I have to move into the part where I'm going to hide from him or sneak up behind him and Garrett wire him. Yeah. But the way it's currently set up, where cuts only happen on like a 7, it's like, oh, if you fail, you don't get what you want, and you get you know, screwed over, and that isn't fun.
Yeah.
Like that makes rolling low completely frustrating. Whereas with soft cuts always kind of happening, except on exceptional rolls, the story is naturally, you know, ebbing and flowing back and forth.
Yeah, probably in general having more soft cuts thrown in there would be, yeah, more interesting perhaps, and less just steamrolling and okay, I do the thing. Oh no, there's an obstacle. Well, I do the thing to defeat the obstacle, and so on and so on. Okay, what else? Do you enjoy our characters? Do you enjoy our playbooks?
Yeah. I think I could have, like, if I played the pair again, I would make them more individual characters.
Yeah.
Because they basically just seemed like the same character. Like, I was just one character.
I'm Merry and Pippin, and you can just can't tell us apart.
Yeah.
How about you, Tyler? Did you enjoy your elf?
I enjoyed the elf a lot. I think I would have enjoyed it more in a game without a rigid backstory already.
Maybe.
Because I wanted to, like, I came up with the idea to like have them be like nomadic spies and like information brokers and like play both sides, but it turns out that's not really a thing in Transformers, and then it just felt kind of odd.
There are people who aren't aligned, and it's kind of not a great thing to be because you're going to get yourself murdered.
Yeah, well, I mean, like once I got like 2 sessions into it, I was like, oh man, I really should have just been an Autobot. That would have been a lot better.
Yes. Also,
Melissa threw in Decepticon. That was fun.
Also, what was I going to say here? I made an elf character for a future game that I ended up not going to be playing. But anyways, yeah, it was really fun making up the backstory for what elves are and the setting and stuff like that. Like, that was a really fun part of it, so I could totally get what you're saying. Because it was just a completely generic setting.
And how was the spider?
Probably wouldn't play it again. Wasn't a big fan of its mechanics, but
Yeah, it seemed to be like struggling to do a lot of stuff.
it requires a lot of setup that requires you to like spy on people beforehand.
Yeah.
And not being like you can get abilities that let you create your webs during a battle, but if you don't, you're really, really at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
And it might also have been a function of how combat heavy we were too, but I feel
Yeah.
like you didn't have enough webs.
That's
Because
exactly
we were always fighting and you just never had enough to do your stuff.
Yeah, like in the book, there is a description of how to like put each type of playbook on like edge, or like how to put them at disadvantage. And with the spider, it's literally just you put them in a situation where they don't have time to prepare. So
Mm-hmm. Well, for me, like the Squire was really fun. It was a nice change of pace and what have you. And I guess if you build it quite neatly, maybe you could get something out of it. I don't necessarily felt like the knight was the best choice for it, but happened in the end. I was hoping for getting the sheriff,
Halfling Sheriff?
Halfling sheriff. Probably would have been really interesting for it.
Oh, I would have been so angry at you.
Oh, that's because you wanted it.
I mean, that's what happens when you die and then kill yourself. You did both in a row. You died and then you killed yourself.
I think the giant would also found probably be more interesting combat, I guess. You know, maybe at some point I'll play a giant again or whatever. Thinking that taking the giant and adding on maybe the collector to a new beginning, that might be a really powerful combo. So something interesting to try. I mean, I generally had fun with those. How about the Overlord? Was it fun?
Yeah, Overlord was good. You got a lot of tools to work with. The one thing I wish is there were more custom moves. Like, sure, I could just make them up, but like, I ran through like most of them, and then I was kind of wanting for more fun moves.
Yeah. So which
Like-
moves did you enjoy?
Let me take a look at what I took for Tarantulas.
One where you off a character,
Yeah,
one where you do
You
necrotic
fucking
damage.
asked me. Don't goddamn ask me and start fucking telling me what you goddamn piece of shit. So, the two I liked the most was Warmonger and Mastermind, but those are almost like, I'm not going to say they're necessary, but they're like the most bang for your buck ones. Warmonger gives you a second,
Army.
like entire army to have, which is cool for options. And Mastermind lets you have 3 master plans at once, and as a other thing lets you kind of like advance them. And like, I can't really see an Overlord that wouldn't do that. Like those almost seem like normal natural advancements to take when you're the Overlord. Why wouldn't you take a second army? Why wouldn't you take more master plans and accelerate them and cause a big snafu right in the middle of the game where the player's like, oh no, we're out of time?
I mean, yeah, definitely the Mastermind at the early game where you can take that, create pass, and also finish one of them. That's really you boost your strength straight away because you get more stats and so on.
It's like it's on a cooldown where you're waiting. It's like in League of Legends, I guess, where you're waiting for like
Your
a
ultimate.
cooldown to tick in halfway through the match and you nail it and everyone's like, oh, everything's been disrupted.
Yeah.
They're good. The other 3 I took were, now Who Told You That, which lets me switch out my weakness, which only came up at the last possible moment, it didn't matter, and was a waste of a pick. No More Games, which lets me instantly murk one of you, which is cool, and I used it pretty much right away
Yep.
on the Giant. And Evil's Touch, which makes, my attacks necrotic, and I can instantly kill your companions. And you didn't take any of your companions with you when I had it.
Because it was dangerous to take that.
Yeah, it was dangerous. I would have murked them. That word
Not
against
just-
them.
Not just that, but like you made the entire hallways deadly, and most companions have like 1 stat. They would have died immediately.
Yeah,
There was no
it's-
point in taking
Yeah,
them.
yeah, I know.
They only take
I'm
damage when
not
they use
complaining
moves.
about the reasoning. I'm just saying it wasn't really worth it.
I mean, taking the necrotic damage early on, we're like, oh, we have a battle, we do necrotic, and then we have to rest in order to recover that.
Yeah.
It's a useful move when you want to slow down the fellowship and force them to rest up.
I did the thing the book tells you not to do. Well, the second edition book tells you not to do. We only had the first one.
Yeah.
I played way too Kids Gloves with you in those first few sessions.
Yeah.
And that totally screwed me over. I was like 3 sessions behind you guys picking advancements. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll just take a general and not sketch them out and sketch them out next session for my advancement. Maybe I'll just do this. Like, it's being very light and breezy. I'm like, oh, the game wants you to hit the players as hard as possible in the early game. So, like, if I did it again, I'd probably go for, like, I'd keep Warmonger and Mastermind till later, and I'd probably go straight to, like, Evil's Touch, Heart of Ice, the stuff that lets you just snap bonds and do corrupted damage constantly.
Yep.
And then, once I was good keeping you off kilter and I got some breathing room, I could, like, be like, oh, maybe this time I'll take Warmonger, grab a second army, and, like, be able to kind of mix up your things. And then later on, when just as you guys were starting to succeed, I'd take Mastermind and, like, get a bunch of sources of power and fuck you guys over.
Yep.
Really keep you guys reeling and trying to figure shit out.
It would have been a lot more helpful too, because I don't know what I'm saying. Never mind.
I guess also what we didn't do as well, like that we learned about the Overlord's plan way too quickly, way too early, so we always knew where to go. And I think part of the fellowship is like, okay, you don't know where he is because the plans are too low or something like that. So you have to, tread the waters a little bit to figure out what's going on. In that time, the Overlord can do something, perhaps. So maybe that may keep it a bit more, a couple more secrets there. But I don't know. So, what else, guys?
Oh no.
Nobody shared moves, which I thought was odd.
Yeah, it just didn't come up.
I mean, a lot of the moves are really specific to your playbook, and those that seem cool usually are like, oh, you cannot share this one.
Yeah. I mean, it almost came through where you wanted to take the friendly face one for me.
I don't think I actually did, but that's like, yeah, because I was going for some nice and friendly squire build, and that requires some stuff from Halflings, and I cannot take anything from my playbook that's not being played, and so on. So it's kind of a problem for me to get around. But yeah, usually like other playbooks have that. I'll take one move from someone else, and that's usually what you need. And sharing moves, like what would you share if you would like, oh, your elven magic?
The cloaking device? The fight system?
I mean, the cloaking device is good. The faces of those who have wronged me is good. What once was lost, which is the one that lets hope or despair. Like a lot of them are, a lot of the moves that I have are good moves. They're just not combat moves, which means that it didn't feel as applicable in this.
Yeah, those I know. For the giant playbook, I had what? I can carry people around and I can jump and so on.
Giant was cool.
Yeah, but like there aren't that many moves I can show people that they can really use all that matter that would be useful for them to have. With the square, oh, I can show you my moves that make the bonds be healing and so on, but you don't have as many bonds as me, so it's not that useful. So
I think it would have been cool if, like, at level 3 you just share a bond in addition to everything else to encourage mixing it up a little. Because it also feels like, do I want to spend like my level up to just like share a move?
But other people also have that when you level up, you have someone else share a move with you. Like that's what I took with my squad.
Yeah, I noticed that some are like that,
Yeah.
and others are when you level up, you share a move.
I'm
not sure why
both
it's
of them.
inconsistent.
Yeah, I have
They're
both
just-
on
they're-
my
they're
character
just
sheet. I can do either,
Yeah.
but I can only share a move with other people after level 5 for some reason.
Because you're a powerful playbook.
Yeah.
Something.
So I'm not sure what the game is trying to do with the sharing of moves, but it doesn't seem like it's working.
I mean, the sharing moves are, I think we look at it mechanically at least, like, oh, they're really useful when you do a new beginning because then you keep all of those moves on top of everything else you take, so those are useful to keep. And probably it's like, hey, I'll share a move with you, you share a move with him, he'll share a move with me, and let's like trade all the moves, guys. And
It also didn't help that basically all of our characters were good at different things. Like, you two were kind of stealthy, and me and Peter were kind of more combat-y, but like, we all had very different things we were doing.
Yeah, sometimes you
like-
don't have the right stats to have it move like, oh,
Yeah, like, I don't like Garibald being fucking invisible. Cool, it gives me advantage, but it doesn't suit my character.
Right.
like, oh, or you're moving like, oh, if they don't notice you, you can kill them with grace in order to remain stealthy and take them off with an advantage. Like, oh, what if my character doesn't have grace? What if it's a giant? It's kind of hard for him to hide, and so on, so on. Yeah.
Just picturing him like, just like holding up like a little branch in front of him, like.
I mean, wasn't that in like the Bay Transformers where like trying to sneak around the house or something like that?
I think it happens in Bumblebee.
I remember there was one in one of the Bay Transformers where some people are in the house.
No one knows.
I think
Nobody
I watched
watched that.
one of the Bane Transformers, but Bumblebee was really good.
Bumblebee was amazing. It isn't a Babe movie.
Yeah.
I didn't like it as much.
Fuck you.
If Bumblebee didn't go to the planet, everything would have worked out better.
What? No, it wouldn't have. They needed a base of operations.
Bumblebee went there, went to coma, woke up.
Yeah, it was a last-ditch effort of a dying people. It wasn't a tactical thing. It's like, okay, we're sending everyone to planets. Whoever survives can set up a forward base of operations. And Bumblebee, who is a nameless scout, who's super young, who isn't battle-ready, made it to a planet with intelligent life that would one day ally with them, got fucking almost wrecked by Decepticon, killed a bunch of other Decepticons, went into a coma, survived his coma, made peaceful contact, then killed those Decepticons and set up a base.
Because of his actions, the humans have a means of detecting the Cybertronians, means of, disabling them, and helped,
Yeah, it was a big accident. He wasn't like
Also, though,
This isn't-
they
this
have
is-
that, but the humans end up allying with the Autobots.
and
anyways.
then giving the Autobots tools to detect Decepticons.
Hmm?
Bumblebee was a hero. God damn you! He was the littlest hobo, but from space.
He was like a mute cat, just
He
big.
was the littlest hobo. All right.
Okay.
He's not Steve Rogers. If Steve Rogers, a trained Marine soldier, went in and fucked his way through that movie, yeah, you got a point. This is Incompetent Man, the Winter Soldier. I got ya. But it's literally a small child robot who's a dog hobo. All right, give him some slack. He did his best.
Okay, back to Fellowship. What else? Did you enjoy the characters? Did you enjoy the places, NPCs?
Yeah.
They're all fun.
Yeah.
Really fun.
I think they're all evocative and lively. I think I put a good amount of energy into them.
I really liked Cup, and I really liked Nitro Zeus.
Oh my god, Nitro Zeus, the breakout character.
Yeah. I really liked Demolisher too. He's cute.
Yeah. A lot of people that came from that, specialized army were interesting. And once that, got replaced with the zombie, like, oh, not as fun.
Well, yeah, you guys destroyed the organization, so it's like, all right, we're done.
That's fine.
There's nothing else to do. Yeah. Any other comment? Like, I'm excited for Fellowship generic. Like, just out of the box, collaborative Fellowship.
Very much the same.
Yeah.
Also, I do agree with Peter that the generals and shit were really fun.
Mm-hmm.
We wrecked them really easily though.
You burned through that like 2 seconds.
Yeah, we did it. We wrecked them, but they were really fun.
I mean,
Especially, I liked the moment I had with this guy,
Megabyte?
Megabyte. Where I'm like, I was like fighting him, like, wait, are you secretly on our side? You should just let me go. That was really fun.
Aren't you secretly a good guy-ish?
Yeah, it was funny because I just forgot until halfway through the fight. But
I guess with the genres, you could make them a bit hard. Like, if you had that one that, oh, I am hard, you have to damage me 3 times before I go down.
Yeah, people recommend having the tough guy as the general, but the
Yeah.
honor bound is way deadlier.
it's
Yeah.
fun too.
Both
I found the honor bound just a little frustrating
Hmm?
to deal with.
You can't take them out. You got to work within their code of honor. They're a puzzle boss. The tough guy fight is, hey Tyler, you got to do like 8 damage to this guy, and you're gonna take 15 damage doing it.
Yeah.
That's just number slog.
Yeah, I liked the fact that you could talk to the honor bound guy and manipulate him through it, basically.
And he'll be fucking merciful, and he'll be fair, and he won't try to be a piece of shit to you. And you can engage with him, and
And then Breakout tries to keep them busy and, face on the pavement.
I mean, again, a lot of it was the restrictions of playing in the Transformers game, where Transformers are very murdery creatures.
And plus, it's so hard to kill us that you can just do as much as damage as you want.
Yeah, you can be as violent as you want. They're toys. They're not bleeding blood, so it's okay. You get past the sensors.
Right? They'll just go into a coma and wake up in a few millennia, and it doesn't matter because we all live that long. Whereas,
if that was a normal Fellowship and he was fucking face planting you onto spikes and stuff, it'd be a goddamn gruesome sight.
yeah.
What did you do to that tiny little fox hobbit?
Pluck his wings.
Yeah. That was a good one. That was a good scene.
Yeah. Nothing, the stand-up character.
So yeah, future ideas for Transformers in Fellowship, like Fellowship of Cybertron, is I think I have an idea for Earth 1985 or Ice Age Earth / Hearts of Steel, which was the invention of the steam engine trains setting for Transformers. I have trains and biplanes and ironclad warships. Vague ideas, but nothing concrete. Just straight up 1985, the Ark wakes up when Mount St. Helens erupts and the Great War starts on Earth. And, deal with Earthlings. Maybe people in Fellowship take a playbook and play Earthlings.
Pew, pew, pew.
I don't know.
I'm the
Like-
squire, guys.
Like if someone plays the pair instead of being like a Transformer or a Cybertronian, they're playing like Snake Eyes and White Ninja from the G.I. Joe team, and the organization is Joe, and that's how they define themselves. Or Cobra.
Or you have one person that's like human and one of them that's Transformers, and the one is piloting the other. That's
Oh,
how
like
they
the headmaster.
And they can combine, but only once.
There's something like that. They were called headmasters. So you had a human that was in a suit of like power armor, and you had a Cybertronian that didn't have a head, and the human would transform into a little car or maybe their head, and it'd plug into their body, and then they could fight. It was a toy thing.
All
It
of
was a
the toy thing, Devin. All of it.
Didn't make much sense. There was also Pretenders, which was Cybertronians putting a living skin over themselves to pretend to be biological life, but still being 30 feet tall. So it's just Bumblebee walking around as a 30-foot tall being like, I'm hiding among humanity.
And
Then
then
they
there was
blow the
sea,
shell off and be like they're a robot.
and then there was Sea Spray or whatever.
That one time Sea Spray turned into a beautiful merman and fucked a mermaid queen,
Yeah.
which definitely happened to Sea Spray in this game. He doesn't talk about the time.
I'm gonna say that I've heard that story from both Sea Spray and Cup, and I don't believe a fucking word of it.
Well,
He obviously got his hand on some like tainted cigars or something, and yeah,
he got fucking high. He got ripped.
exactly.
I fucked a mermaid girl. It's like, what? You what?
You went
It's
to
like
the
she was made
water?
of meat.
Ew.
It's like, what? What part of her was made of meat? All of it. From the belt up and down.
You were swimming in water? Ew.
We're swimming in acid? I don't know, my favorite gag was the Astro Train.
Oh my
Where
god.
he ties it to the tracks and he does the trolley.
What a
Just around and around.
Lovely.
The other idea I had was, going further into the future where it's like the Earth War happens and it's Mass Effect, or it's just something sci-fi or whatever, and then you have different worlds and planets and communities you can go to, and there's some sort of threat. I don't know. It's a wide open concept. There's like 65 million years of shit you could do. Probably not make it like a universe threat, like even though it kind of looked like it was a universe threat with the Reapers and Tarantulas, it really wasn't. That wasn't really the point. I don't know if I probably wouldn't revisit that in the next few seasons because that's redundant. Just make it a different threat. Just make it interesting. There's, again, 30 years of this. You don't have to do the same thing.
We'll figure something out, but moving on.
But using your character, Metro Titan Multiplex, as the ship, I like that idea. Like you guys are just driving him in space. Like not waking up, just you're driving him. He's your ship. Other than that, I think that's it, right?
Yeah.
Nothing else to add about this game specifically?
I don't think so, no.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go back and record the intro. I was Devin,
Nicole.
Tyler?
Kevin.
And Peter.
and this is sponsored by Nobody. Signing off.